Joining me now to talk about the continuing crisis in Egypt is New York Times White House reporter Helene Cooper. Helene, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You broke a big story last night in saying that the administration now was working with Egyptian officials quietly behind the scenes to kind of bring this crisis to an end. What can you tell us more about that?
Well, this is one of several scenarios, but the several administration officials that we talked to were very clear that this is their preferred option, and that would be to have President Mubarak resign immediately, and then to see a transition government headed by the vice president, who President Mubarak appointed last week, Omar Suleiman, backed by the Egyptian military, and immediately start negotiations with demonstrators on a constitutional reform for an electoral process that would open up the country's entire electoral process to opposition groups in advance of September elections. Obama administration officials have definitely been talking with their Egyptian counterparts about this. The big question, though, is whether or not President Mubarak is going to go for it. He's been resisting so far, and it's not clear at all that Mr. Mubarak's underlings or the high-level officials in the Egyptian government are ready to abandon their president.
From what you know in talking to your sources, are these ideas being received well there? I mean, what kind of response or feedback is the administration getting?
Yeah, the response from the Egyptians has been sort of ranging from hostile to very downright angry. One Egyptian official who I talked to yesterday said point blank that the United States needs to mind its own business. I think a lot of Mr. Mubarak's deputies are very angry because they feel that the Obama administration is pushing them too hard. But the reality is the people out on the streets in Cairo are also pushing very hard. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the Egyptian officials at some point soon end up starting to cave.
This is a tough spot, obviously, for the Obama administration because they want to move the process along. But this can't be seen, I think, as an American plan, right?
It's an extraordinarily difficult position for President Obama and the Obama administration because, as you know, the United States holds itself up as a beacon of democracy, but at the same time looks at Egypt as sort of a pillar of American foreign policy in the region, and the stability of Egypt is so important to so many of America's foreign policy concerns. So, you know, there's a lot of delicacy going on in the diplomatic negotiations that have been going on back and forth. So many phone calls back and forth between Washington and Cairo right now.
And just if you can for a second, look into your crystal ball. What do you think going forward? How much more are we going to hear from the administration publicly? They've kind of put their marker down, haven't they?
They've put their marker down, and they're getting a little bit of pushback, and maybe that perhaps they've put their marker down too hard. But I think there's no way for America or for the Obama administration to sort of maintain a hands-off attitude. The reality is, you know, Obama is the president of the United States, not China. If he was president of China, he could sit back and wait and let things play out. But that doesn't really work over here, particularly when you look at just how involved the United States and the Egyptian government are, and just how important all of this is to American interests.
All right, Helene Cooper of the New York Times, thanks very much.
Thank you.